Perspective. Uh, Something that I've learned is perspective is key to a lot of things. Perspective is like a general in war. Let's just use war. Perspective has many different ways. A general in war, he might have 15 soldiers. He will send five soldiers over here to be used as a distraction, and the other 10 would wrap around and ambush the enemy. And maybe a lieutenant will say, well, the possibility of those, out of those five soldiers, three of them die. And the general will say that's a sacrifice we have to be willing to make to win the battle and subsequently the war. And a military perspective, in a perspective of the general, the overall war is bigger than the lives of three men. What he said was probably the most efficient way to win that battle. But the lieutenant says, oh, there's a different way. This way we can save as many men, but the risk of losing that battle will be higher because if it doesn't get pulled off just right, more men could die. The lieutenant is thinking about those people, but if they lose that battle, they could lose the war. And losing that war can mean more lives will be lost. And then you got to think of the perspective of the soldiers. These people are just getting told what to do, kill somebody that they've never met, go back home to probably a divorce paper waiting on the table, kids that they got coming, mothers that are passing away right at that moment, people celebrating birthdays. Perspective. It's very powerful, it's very important. Perspective is key to all of this. Not one person in my scenario is saying something evil. They're not evil people, but they got a different view on things. Sometimes you got to take yourself out of the whole situation and look at it all together. What was this war even about? You won the war, but did you gain anything? What was the importance of the war? What was the importance of the battle? What was important of losing those men? What was the point? The importance of becoming a soldier, general, lieutenant anyway? Perspective. I can't stress that enough. There's so much that goes on with perspective because you have to view things in a different way all the time. And life is so short and these things go by so quick, sometimes you can't take yourself out of one view and look at all the views. But with this whole COVID, with this whole, you know, social distancing, and sometimes the time that we take, and I've noticed that people don't even take half a second when they have a whole minute to make a decision, make a statement, get on the camera and post a video like a celebrity. I'm pulling out my phone, making a video, making a camera, but it didn't just happen overnight. I didn't just think about the consequences. You know, yesterday say, you know what, I'm gonna just make a video and put my view. No, I thought long and hard on which on what my voice would be if I get popular from this, if I become an activist, become a leader of an activism, of a movement, and know that the possibility of me dying is there, and people hating me and me losing friends over my opinions. I thought about that. And I never wished that, but sometimes you gotta do some things. You gotta look at it in my perspective. If I don't do something now, who's gonna do something? And if I don't do it, will it be done right? If I don't make sure it's done and completely done, it could happen again. I'm scared. I don't want my dreams to to die, and I don't want my dreams to be passed on to anyone because they might not do it right. So I gotta make sure that people can influence my dreams, that people are around my dreams and can help me change it and better it, but never take it completely over. It's perspective. I looked at it in a whole new way. A friend told me, a friend who has a Confederate flag, a friend from the South, taught me a very important lesson. Choose which hill you want to die on. I hope to never lose that friend, but if I have to, I'll make a stance that says, I don't like that flag. I like him, but I don't like that flag. I chose which hill I'm going to die on. I hope that anyone that sees this, anyone that hears this knows that if you could see it from my perspective, you would know why I chose to die on this hill. If anyone ever wonders why I'm so weird, why I'm so strange, and why I'm so quiet sometimes, it's because I'm always thinking, if I let myself out the true way, would they still appreciate me? Will they still love me? It's a perspective that someone would never see, until now. Perspective. That's that's the message. That's all I had to say. Maybe I'm babbling, but it's important. That's all I can say.